You can support In the Past Lane with a donation via Patreon or PayPal. Just go to inthepastlane.com and click on support. Thanks.
Whoa, hit the brakes. You've arrived at the #1 drive-by for American history. Welcome to The Pit Stop. Brought to you by In the Past Lane, the podcast about history and why it matters. Here's Edward T. O'Donnell, your host and historian at large.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Pit Stop, your Monday morning source for history on the go in just about 5 minutes. If you're new to the podcast, we offer this feature every Monday, in addition to our regular full feature episodes. Here's what happened in American history the week of September 17th, 2018. Let's start with birthdays. September 17th, 1907, that's the birthday of Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Warren Burger, who was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. September 19th, 1932, that's the birthday of the legendary Chicago newspaper columnist, Mike Royko. Royko wrote over 7,000 columns for 3 Chicago newspapers, and he was famous for his acerbic wit. Mike Royko once said, "Show me somebody who is always optimistic, and I will show you somebody who hasn't the faintest idea what the heck is really going on." September 20th, 1878, that's the birthday of the novelist and social activist Upton Sinclair. Sinclair wrote dozens of books, but his most famous was The Jungle, a grim and shocking expose of the Chicago meatpacking industry in 1906. Sinclair had hoped his novel would win the American public over to socialism. Instead, his readers focused on the putrid and diseased meat that the greedy meat corporations were selling to the American public, and they demanded reforms. As Sinclair put it, "I aimed at the public's heart, and by accident, I hit it in the stomach." September 23rd, 1838, that's the birthday of the women's rights activist Victoria Woodhull, who was born in Homer, Ohio. Woodhull made history in 1872 when she became the first woman to run for president as a candidate of the Equal Rights Party. And if you want to know more about this, there's a full episode on it, episode 16 of In the Past Lane. Victoria Woodhull launched her campaign by saying, "I now announce myself as a candidate for the presidency. I anticipate criticism." And boy, was that an understatement. But Woodhull didn't care, and she made her case by saying, "I ask the rights to pursue happiness by having a voice in that government to which I am accountable." September 23rd, 1889, is the birthday of journalist and political commentator Walter Lippmann, who was born in New York City. Lippmann wrote a lot about foreign affairs, and he's the guy who popularized the phrase Cold War. He also cautioned the U.S. about intervening too much in world affairs. "The time has come," Lippmann once wrote, "to stop beating our heads against stone walls under the illusion that we have been appointed policemen to the human race." All right, let's turn to events. September 17th, 1787, after a long, hot summer of debate and compromise, the delegates at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia signed the U.S. Constitution. September 17th, 1862, Union and Confederate forces clashed in the Battle of Antietam in Maryland. This battle is notable for 2 reasons. First, it was the bloodiest single day in American military history, with 23,000 soldiers killed, wounded, or missing. Second, the Union victory allowed President Abraham Lincoln to issue the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which marked the beginning of the end of slavery. September 20th, 1973, women's tennis star Billie Jean King defeated the brash hustler and self-confessed male chauvinist pig, Bobby Riggs, in a tennis match hailed as the Battle of the Sexes. Riggs had declared that even at the age of 55, he could defeat Billie Jean King. But it was King who defeated Riggs before a crowd of 30,000 in the Houston Astrodome. September 21st, 1780, General Benedict Arnold committed treason by forming a plot to turn over West Point to the British. Thankfully for the Patriot cause, the plot was discovered before Arnold could carry it out. September 22nd, 1961, President John F. Kennedy signed a bill establishing the Peace Corps. And September 23rd, 1949, the Soviet Union stunned the United States and the world when it detonated an atomic bomb. Most experts had believed the USSR was years away from developing the bomb, so the news set off a panic at the highest levels of the U.S. government. The sense of security that the United States had enjoyed because it was the world's only nuclear power was over. Okay, let's turn to the last word. Let's give it to Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation. Here's the opening lines of the proclamation. That on the first day of January, in the year of our Lord 1863, all persons held as slaves, within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts they make for their actual freedom. Okay, people, that's your history fix of the week. Now put it in drive and go make your own history.